Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today, as this is a Monday podcast episode where we talk about a specific astrological topic or theme. And today we're going to discuss the lunar cycle changing as of the Pisces Lunar Eclipse on September 7th, 2025. The lunar cycle is changing and being experienced in a whole new way until May 2027. And I'm going to go through the specifics of what the heck I'm talking about, because it's important to note that this is astrology, not astronomy. The moon is still going to do its thing out there. We're still going to have the new moons and the full moons. But the cycles are shifting now, as we're going to have a full moon that precedes the new moon in an astrological sun sign season. Now, this begins, as I said, with the Pisces Lunar Eclipse. Now, do you recall that in August and September 2025, we have two Virgo new moons? There was a Virgo new moon on August 23rd at 0 degrees of Virgo. Then 2 weeks later, there's the Pisces Lunar Eclipse on September 7th, and then 2 weeks after that, we have the second Virgo new moon, which is actually a solar eclipse on September 21st. So when we have these two new moons within the same astrological season, in this case Virgo, it changes the lunar cycles going forward, because the two new moons occurring at the very beginning and the very end of the same zodiac sign changes how the moon cycle is going to unfold until we have the next occurrence of two new moons or two full moons in the same astrology season. We've been in this cycle for a while. It occurs every maybe year and a half or so. It does vary, but it occurs whenever, again, there's two new moons or two full moons within the same astrology sign. And later in this podcast, I'm going to go through what it means over the next 12 months to have a full moon, for example, the full moon in Pisces, which is bringing in bright awareness, illuminating a dream, a transition, and an area of spiritual growth for you, followed 2 weeks later by the Virgo new moon, which is gathering together what you've realized and having a clear new start. In a normal cycle, during Virgo season, we have one Virgo new moon that leads us 2 weeks later to the Pisces full moon. Then we move into Libra season, and we would have a Libra new moon followed by an Aries full moon. Then we would go into Scorpio season and have a Scorpio new moon followed 2 weeks later by a Taurus full moon. That is not the case this year. That is not the case starting September 2025 until May 2027, where it's now flipped. The full moon happens first, and then we're led to a new moon that brings together the sun and the moon in a sign as we reset and create a new intention based on what the full moon has required us to realize, transition, and complete. Now, before I get into more specifics of how this is going to unfold for each of the full moons and new moons, let's talk about the energetic change that occurs when the lunar cycle shifts. It means there is a reversal. And so as this energy continues on, it's important to understand what has reversed for you. What has softened? What has opened? Where have you flipped the script on something? And this can be wonderful for breaking patterns, understanding more of yourself and what's not working for you, seeing into more of your own willingness to grow and change. So what has softened and opened for you that could feel like a switchback, a plot twist, or a reversal? And the reason why this is occurring is because the full moon is amplifying its emotional frequency that's deeply speaking to us. And now the moon is in this highlighted spotlight of bringing to your awareness how you are ready to flow, grow, and change in a new way before the new moon that resets. So there is the energy here now of the lunar flow sets the tone for what the sun creates next. The moon is guiding the sun. Of course, I'm speaking astrologically, not astronomically, but energetically. The moon is bringing up to your awareness what she wants you to see and feel. And you could feel this as a deepening into your heart space, into your emotional body. You could feel that you're expanding in your own feminine energies, your intuition, your senses, your ability to trust what you need even more. And because this begins here in September 2025 and unfolds until May 2027, we are going to be on a journey of allowing more of our emotional truth to truly be seen, felt, and honored without pushing it away, ignoring it, hiding it, or diminishing it. Now, for a point of reference, the last time we were in this type of lunar reversal cycle was April 2023 until July 2024. Then in July 2024, we had 2 full moons in Capricorn that reset the lunar cycle back to its natural state. And that is when I last talked about this topic, was July 2024, when the lunar cycle was reset because of those 2 full moons in Capricorn. So we've been in these cycles before, is my point, and they are quite typical, but it's better for us to recognize them because you might realize more of what is going on for you in your life and within yourself when you see how that full moon occurs first, which can bring up more chaos, confusion, emotional intensity, perhaps feeling scattered, pulled in multiple directions, depends on where that full moon is, of course, in your chart. But this is where we can feel like we're on the defensive, like, oh my goodness, this big thing happened. Now I have to hurry up and clean it up and prepare for the new moon, which is the intentional start of a new cycle. So when we have the full moon occurring first within a sun sign season, we can be caught off guard by what we're understanding and realizing, but then feel motivated to get it together and clean it up by the new moon. Now, in the show description, I will outline for you these dates that I'm talking about because I know that it can help to read them. So I will write out each full moon and new moon for you to reference. I feel that in these cycles, the full moon opens up new pathways to follow by revealing something that you didn't previously see and understanding that this may be exactly what you're ready to realize and understand because of how it changes something within you that was maybe stuck, resistant. Maybe you were just following the rules, coloring in between the lines, staying the course, but now your emotional awareness brings forth a very important message or realization that could shake off what you thought you had to do or what you thought you had to take care of. The moon is mysterious, hidden, secretive. She holds a lot more depth than meets the eye. And we are going to be meeting even more parts of ourselves as that full moon reveals more of your own feminine instincts, intuitive wisdom, and emotional needs that maybe you withheld and weren't deeply connected to. The moon loves dancing with the sun. The moon loves connection, wants there to be a healthy ebb and flow, and wants us to open up into what we don't know and what we can't see, but to trust that there's more within us that we can experience when we're willing to honor more of our own feminine energies. And of course, this is true within all of us, regardless of gender or sex. So now the full moon is leading the lunar cycle. Instead of the new moon beginning each astrological season, the new moon is going to be closing out each astrological season. And the new moons are going to be occurring in the late degrees of each sign. So as Virgo season closes out in 2025, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo. 2 weeks later, we have the Aries full moon at 14 degrees, followed 2 weeks later by the Libra new moon at 28 degrees. So all the new moons occurring in the late degrees of a sign means that there's a new understanding of that sign that you are mastering. You're arriving at a new conclusion, for example, of what Virgo energies mean to you, of what Libra energies mean to you. You are mastering something perhaps more quietly and personally throughout each season, and then that new moon brings you to a culmination point of understanding that resets how you are embodying the energy of that sign. And so as the new moon ends Virgo season, closes out Libra season, and finalizes Scorpio season at 28 degrees of Scorpio, you're going to have more understandings of what you're consciously choosing to master and reset for yourself with greater emotional awareness. And because the full moon is going to show you something very powerful and wise, you're going to also maybe feel that you need more time to integrate, review, reflect, and look at how you are emotionally growing through these cycles that, again, could feel like a reversal because you're going to be meeting new parts of yourself that you didn't realize were available to you. And I do feel this is part of the feminine rising energies on the planet, where the moon is louder, brighter, and clearer. She's standing in more of her purity, offering out these rays of wisdom, and you're going to feel it. You could feel yourself emotionally cracking. You might see it as a negative thing, for example, that, oh no, I can't hold it together. I'm softening, I'm melting. I'm not able to be as put together as I've been. And this is a beautiful effect of the full moon showing you more of your heart, more of your emotional world, more of what you are designed to feel, because it's in the feelings that we connect. Consider how beautiful it is to not only meet your own vulnerabilities, but to dance with someone else's vulnerabilities, to know more about who they are, their story, their experiences, to understand their humanness and what makes them real. These are beautiful gifts that the moon brings up for us to connect with and to understand. There can be humility in the moon, a humbleness, a sense of purity around, I'm just who I am. This is just what I feel, and it's flowing through me. I honor the flow as part of my endless truth. I honor these emotions as part of being a limitless being in this physical world. And so there will be more emotional awakenings. There will be more expansions of the heart chakra. I'm actually seeing the expansions occurring in each of the chakras because they are now opening up to more emotional frequencies that you're ready to trust. And again, if you feel like you're cracking or melting, that is a beautiful honoring of noticing what armor you've been embodying or where you've been maintaining perhaps a certain front or mask that isn't the truth of your full expansive self. We know how powerful the moon is on our planet as the moon guides the ocean tides, the ebbing and flowing of the waves. And if you have been to the beach, your feet in the sand, and you have allowed yourself to wander further into the ocean and just move maybe up to your calves, your knees, your thighs, and feel that water coming up against your legs, you feel its power. You feel how strong those ocean waves can be and that they're tied to a much bigger current of energy. This is what the moon is going to be opening up within us. Some people are going to have some very crazy breakthroughs in their emotional self. And this particular cycle from 2025 to May 2027 is an extended period of these energies. And it's also working with the accelerated masculine energies on the planet as the outer planets move into more of the fire and air signs. So we have this intensity now of not only these masculine fire and air signs propelling us forward, accelerating us into new dreams, more experiences, and higher levels of creation. We also have the intensity of the moon that's keeping us connected to our hearts and allowing us to maintain in a deeper place of empowerment around how you really feel and moving with your feelings, moving with your intuition, where it's not passive. There could be a sense of, I have to do this thing. I have to go to this place. I have to say this. And it's that emotional undercurrent welling up within you that's connecting and realigning the root chakra all the way up to the heart chakra, through the throat, third eye, and then bursting out of the crown chakra. I feel it as these energies rising up within you of realizing more that you really feel, that is aligned with a truth, a soul path, and a trajectory. It's interesting because I see the energy again. It comes up through the root chakra. I think I'm getting that visual because of the imagery of standing just in the ocean waves with the water hitting the legs. And then the energy rises up through all 7 chakras. And I see it go up through the crown chakra. And it goes off on a new trajectory. It goes off in a different direction that could seem really weird. I mean, I'm watching it do this spiraling turn that is quite spontaneous. And of course, trust what feels right for you. I'm wondering if it's the energy that's going back to grab something that represents who you really are. Because I'm seeing the energy go back into a child's bedroom and picking up a favorite stuffy, like a favorite teddy bear that represented connection, attachment, safety, joy to the younger self. And so this energy could spark parts of who you've been in this life when you felt a deep safety and emotional purity. Now, trust if that resonates or not. But that's how I'm seeing these very powerful energies move through us, is that it's reminding us that it's necessary to be in our hearts, to trust what we feel, to not armor up or think we have to have shields of protection. It's important to trust, of course, who you can be yourself with, who you can share your experiences with, but to not leave behind what you're really feeling because of the programming that has taken over, or the ways we thought we had to harden ourselves to be in the world, or we thought we had to be a certain way around certain people. There could be a lot of conditions that you are challenging. Conditions. Think of how we learn about certain environments, relationships, experiences. It's by not only being in them, but observing them. And we learn what's expected, and we learn the conditions of being who we are. This is something that wants you to feel free to be more of yourself and to love the purity of who you came here to be without limiting yourself to certain conditions. Now, of course, it's acceptable to show up in certain environments wearing your suit and tie, exchanging social niceties, and honoring decorum, expectations, and a role you have to play. But this energy is reminding you that you're more than that. And I feel like for many people, again, something's going to wash over you. And maybe it's hitting you hard. Maybe it's just coming right for your heart, coming right into your intuition, bowling you over. And that's exactly the awareness that is rising up within us. That's part of the divine feminine rising on the planet, where we honor all of our feelings, all of our emotions. We honor the full spectrum of what is coming through without judgment, but rather with unconditional love, that it's all normal. And it's certainly all a part of the human experience as we travel between polarities, the full spectrum of emotions, and all the various experiences on the planet. So as I see this energy coming through, again, it starts with the Pisces Lunar Eclipse. So wow, that's an incoming rush of spiritual awareness that you can't deny. And then it's going to continue here, as I said, until May 2027. And I'm going to go through what it means for each cycle. So this could be a show that you come back and reference later on in the year. I'm only going to go through these briefly, but I want to help illustrate a point that can help you navigate what might be arising for you. So again, just to be really repetitive, the energy starts on September 7th with that Pisces lunar eclipse, bringing to your awareness a spiritual truth, an emotional awareness, and an understanding of maybe a new dream that you want to create. Something uplifting and inspiring, because this is a lunar eclipse working with the North Node of future potentials, destined growth, and fated developments. And because the energy is very bright and potent, there can be new frequencies that you are feeling, and you're trying to figure out how to integrate them and embody them. So after this lunar eclipse full moon, we have a 2-week period that guides us to the following Virgo solar eclipse new moon. And the new moon is that reset. And at 29 degrees of Virgo, the critical degrees of Virgo, it's a reset based on what you have already mastered and completed that you don't want to repeat. You're looking back on the work you've put into something, what you have meticulously developed, what you have grown and understood about your skills, your talents, your abilities to be of service, looking at how your energy has contributed to the whole, and then making a new powerful creation based on the Virgo new moon intentions. And every new moon is a time of darkness. The sky is dark. The sun and the moon are together. They are conjunct. There is a stillness in the air. There's a sense of possibility of what could be, what can grow from this. So consider how it's within that darkness that you are intentionally seeding a brand new intention for your soul based on where you've been and what you've learned. But there's more power here because you could be feeling that you're making a promise to yourself to not repeat old patterns, to not go back into old cycles. There's a commitment to yourself and what you want to birth in this next new moon cycle that could take you into uncharted territory. In fact, I would probably guarantee it, especially because of these eclipse energies. Now, I'm also feeling that during these time periods where we have that big, bright full moon, and 2 weeks later, there's the new moon. We have these cycles every month. Of course, we always have a full moon and then a new moon. The difference is with the astrological alignments. And so we have the brightness fading to dark, fade to black. And that fading out is revealing and teaching what you've completed, and is giving you time to purge, digest, and fully own more of what you've been through, but with a new resolve, a new resolution to start again by embodying the new aspects of self you're meeting. I feel like part of every new moon, again, it's going to be occurring at 29 degrees, 28 degrees, then 27 degrees. It's meeting parts of yourself for the first time that maybe you didn't recognize, and then welcoming in more of who you really are because of what you've seen, because of what's been brought to your awareness. So we have that Virgo new moon that's a solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo, September 21st. That's a new moon, right? Where you are setting your new intentions. And then 2 weeks later is the Aries full moon. And this is why the energies don't quite line up, because Virgo new moon now is going to take us to an Aries full moon, which is a very different energy. And the Aries full moon on October 7th at 14 degrees of Aries is illuminating who you are now with a deeper understanding of how you're showing up in the world. Are you seeing yourself accurately? Are you aware of what you're creating that has your name on it? We move from that Virgo new moon of responsibility, earthbound skills and manifestations into a new sense of self that asks you to be in alignment with what you need. That Aries full moon is, of course, opposing the sun in Libra. So this will bring to your attention relationships, partnerships, cooperations. What is in balance? What is not? And are you in right relationship with those who truly honor, respect, and love you? After the Aries full moon, 2 weeks later is the Libra new moon. And this is that Libra reset at 28 degrees of Libra, where you understand what you've been learning about yourself in relationships, and perhaps you make some new contracts, some new promises or pledges. That Libra energy wants harmony. How can you create new levels of cooperation with that Libra new moon based on what the Aries full moon taught you or reflected back to you? After that Libra new moon on October 21st, 2 weeks later, we have the Taurus full moon at 13 degrees of Taurus on November 5th. So that new moon in Libra is leading us to the creations of Taurus. That Taurus full moon, both being ruled by Venus, is going to bring up more of what you truly want, what you are creating and magnetizing in. And that full moon in Taurus opposing the sun in Scorpio is asking you to check in if you are in alignment with your power, if you are in alignment with what you truly need, desire, and want based on what you value and what has meaning to you. And whatever comes up during that full moon in Taurus, you're then going to have 2 weeks to realign yourself with your own empowerment and what needs to change so that you have a new start with the Scorpio new moon on November 20th. And that Scorpio new moon will be at 28 degrees of Scorpio. And this is a powerful reset of claiming your truth, your wisdom, and your desires that also honors everything you've had to give up, everything that's transformed, everything you've had to release along the way. So that Scorpio new moon at 28 degrees is a big reset, and it could certainly feel like the phoenix rising from the ashes, unlike anything you've seen or felt before in your life. Now, the dark depths of Scorpio want us to be with life's mysteries, wants us to understand that we are more than what is visible, pulls us into our own underworld to connect with our shadow, our true feelings, and what we are harboring within. And then 2 weeks later is the Gemini full moon on December 4th at 13 degrees. And that Gemini full moon is curious, chatty, social, pulls us out of the depths of Scorpio, wants us to talk about it, wants us to share, wants us to see that there are more options ahead and new ways of learning about your experiences. So that Gemini full moon at 13 degrees will oppose the Sagittarius sun that is about the bigger picture of it all. What are you understanding? How are you receiving new guidance that shapes and forms your worldview, your ideology, the philosophies you embody? And so Gemini full moons give us new information to process and consider, and then it guides us into new belief systems that reset with the Sagittarius new moon on December 20th. And that Sagittarius new moon at 28 degrees, conjunct the galactic center, is where you could have some mind-blowing insights into what you've been learning in this lifetime, into how you have been evolving, and to what is a better fit for you now. This is the last new moon of the year. So before I proceed into the full moons and new moons of 2026, please understand that when the full moon occurs first, we can feel, again, blindsided or caught off guard at what is coming up to our awareness. But you could also have really big downloads and really big, powerful understandings that are ultimately right on time for your emotional growth. Now, in between every new moon and full moon, there is a 2-week span of time. And the same is true for every full moon and new moon. They're always about 2 weeks apart. And I'm seeing these as time corridors, and that we're moving through new timelines, accessing even more downloads that are beaming through these corridors. And it's like learning to walk without the earth. It's like learning to be in a state of limitless openness that is going to bring in more of what you are understanding about your path. Because I feel too that, we never talk about astrology as if it's only one thing happening at one time. Rather, we're experiencing these energies amongst all of the accelerated energies that are happening as well. And I see this as part of our bridge into the higher realms of being able to work with multiple stimulating frequencies at once, being able to integrate them and honor them. Also, I'm feeling like you could be more worn out than ever. You need more sleep, naps, or downtime. You need time to do nothing because the downloads, they just don't stop, and they're only going to increase in their potency and frequency. So I feel that with these lunar energies coming in even more strongly, we're not only developing a wiser connection to the moon, but we're also developing more of our energetic mastery because things are front and center, right? You can't ignore it. If you're exhausted and wiped out by 1 p.m., it is what it is. And you have to honor that for yourself. You have to understand that you are now embodying more of these energetic frequencies than ever before, and you're going to feel more energetically sensitive than ever before. Okay, so back to how these lunar energies are going to continue to unfold. December 20th, 2025 is that Sagittarius new moon at 28 degrees of Sag, conjunct the galactic center. Powerful breakthrough insights into your own galactic energies and what you believe about yourself going forward. And then 2 weeks later is the Cancer full moon. And this energy is very different than the Sagittarius new moon. The Cancer full moon at 13 degrees on January 3rd is sensitive, intuitive, perhaps feels defensive and needs protection, is learning to trust itself in the world at large, and is in a deeper connection with our feminine needs. So for all the ways that Sagittarius new moon wants you to strike out on a new path, trust a foreign destination, and honor maybe some new wanderlust, that Cancer energy is like, okay, but can I take my shell with me? Can I travel there with some form of protection so that I still feel safe and cozy regardless of where I roam? That full moon in Cancer could reveal what you need to travel with to stay connected to your heart, your needs, and the people you love. And 2 weeks later, that Capricorn new moon is going to ground you with greater strength, detachment, and discipline around what you want in the world. The Capricorn new moon is at 28 degrees of Capricorn on January 18th, the first new moon of the year that kickstarts the energies. And also at 28 degrees of Capricorn gives you an understanding of your own mastery, what you're responsible for, and what you don't want to go through again. So again, with all these new moons at late degrees of each sign, we are learning through our own lived experiences and hindsight what we're ready to reset and change. 2 weeks after the Capricorn new moon is that Leo full moon. And of course, Leo is very different than Capricorn. Capricorn wants tradition, let's be serious, let's be committed. And that Leo energy just wants to have fun. It can appear even childish to the Capricorn energies. Don't you take anything seriously? And that Leo full moon is bringing alive more parts of our hearts, of our desires, of what we want to experience and create that perhaps we have held back. And that Leo full moon at 13 degrees of Leo on February 1st is also going to show us more about love, your light and desire, but what you are closing out and fading away from, because 2 weeks later, we not only have an Aquarius new moon, it's an Aquarius solar eclipse at 28 degrees of Aquarius. Yes, we're moving into different eclipse energies in early 2026. February 17th, Aquarius solar eclipse at 28 degrees, bringing alive more of your unique gifts, your authentic self, sending you in a new life direction, expanding your dreams and new concepts of how you're here to live your life. It's always spicy and juicy when there is a lot going on in Aquarius, but then 2 weeks later, the Virgo lunar eclipse, down to earth. How's this going to work? What are you doing? Is this practical? The Virgo lunar eclipse at 12, almost 13 degrees of Virgo is going to show you more of what's outdated, the patterns you've been working through, and how to emotionally evolve them so you can be in alignment with a higher growth path. Then 2 weeks later is that Pisces new moon at 28 degrees of Pisces. See the theme here? All the new moons at 28 degrees. It's a reset and acknowledgement of what you no longer need, what you have let go of, what you've transitioned away from. And this Pisces new moon at 28 degrees occurs on March 19th. And there's an honoring of the life you've lived so far and what is completing for your best and highest good. And so after the big energies of eclipse season in February and March 2026, then we are led to a Libra full moon on April 2nd at 12 degrees of Libra. And this is where we regain our balance. We look at, okay, how can I be more objective, self-aware, and clear in making choices that honor my ongoing growth? The Libra full moon on April 2nd brings us in to a higher state of balance, honoring who we are and honoring others in our lives, that we are made for connection and partnership. We are made to interact with people. And are they truly in alignment with who you are? Because that will be part of the work from the Libra full moon until the Aries new moon at 27 degrees of Aries, April 17th. A new start to sense of self, new adventures, new beginnings, new creations, a reset as well in the Aries maturity, what you've learned about yourself and how you're willing to show up maybe in a new version of yourself that honors where you've been and what you've learned. The Aries new moon is a time of planting seeds, and those seeds then come into the Scorpio full moon of emotional intensity, what you're really feeling underneath the surface that is maybe uncomfortable. You don't want to always face it, but there is a strength in Scorpio to face your fears, face your shadow, face your desires, work with what is, and then transform it through whatever wisdom, teachings, and healing modalities resonate with you. That Scorpio full moon is at 11 degrees on May 1st. And shows you what you're ready to evolve, that you then strengthen and ground in to your experience for the Taurus new moon at 26 degrees of Taurus on May 16th. The Taurus energy, being fixed earth, is what we plant into our realities, where we build our lives based on what we own, what we accumulate, what we desire, what we want our experience to be. So with this new moon, you're going to have new insights into how you're ready to live your life based on what the Scorpio full moon 2 weeks prior made uncomfortable or where you felt powerless and uncertain. The Taurus new moon grounds you, simplifies, brings things into a basic understanding, and is where you start to take root in your life. 2 weeks later is a Sagittarius full moon. And as we know, Sagittarius is very different than Taurus. Taurus says, I don't want to budge. I don't want to move. But the Sagittarius full moon is giving you the inspiration to go further than you've been before. Sagittarius is saying, let's just try. Why not? You only live once. There's more of that free spirit energy with a full moon in Sag. And it's because of these experiences that we're then led to the Gemini new moon at 24 degrees. The Gemini new moon shows us what we didn't know before, where we're ready to ask new questions and listen for new answers and new information. The Gemini new moon resets our mental programming and brings us into greater mindfulness around what we truly want to learn and study, where our minds go, and the power of our minds, perceptions, and words. There's a reset here in our communication abilities and in an understanding of how we want to experience our days. Now, with this curiosity, then 2 weeks later is the Capricorn full moon at 8 degrees of Cap. And that Capricorn full moon brings our attention to our responsibilities. Well, you might have a lot of fun buzzing about your day and going off into all these different directions. But the Capricorn full moon says, this is what you need to take care of. This is what needs to get done. Are you tending to your responsibilities, especially when other people rely on you? So during the Capricorn full moon, we see things for what it is. We understand what we are a part of and what we have to work on. 2 weeks later is that Cancer new moon that brings us back into a sense of personal self-love, trusting what we need. The Cancer new moon is now at 22 degrees of Cancer, and this is where you're ready for a break. You're ready to step back, maybe enjoy some downtime with your loved ones, your family. And it's also where that Cancer new moon wants to simply settle and be in the moment, be in the present reality. Now, the Cancer new moon is where we set new intentions based on what we love, what honors our energy daily, what makes us feel good. And 2 weeks later is an Aquarius full moon, a very different energy, wildly different. Aquarius being more eccentric, mental, detached, and wants to rise above the mundane, where that Cancer new moon wants you to maybe stay home and cuddle. The Aquarius full moon is ready to strike out on a wild, crazy idea, see who you meet along the way, and open up to the world. Very different than that new moon energy of Cancer. And so the Aquarius full moon is on July 29th at 6 degrees, and the Aquarius full moon is showing you more of who you are in the world, what you're contributing, what you want to offer, perhaps showing you more about your own soul growth in this lifetime, and is going to open you up to more people. And it's through this awareness of what excites you in the world, what inspires you to be different and to be yourself, that then leads us to the Leo new moon on August 12th at 20 degrees, which is a solar eclipse. A solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo, August 12th, is a powerful reclaiming of strength, courage, and confidence to be yourself in the world, to own your gifts and your light, to create exactly what you're passionate about, to take a risk, and to know that you are here to offer your energy in alignment with your heart and your power. It's a very robust energy. It's bold, colorful, dramatic, and 2 weeks later, it's followed by a Pisces lunar eclipse, which is softer, peaceful, quiet, seeks to be left alone, doesn't want attention, doesn't want anyone to be involved in the private world of one's own creation. And so this can feel disjointed because part of the change in this lunar cycle is how we are actively moving between masculine and feminine from new moon to full moon. We are constantly dancing between what it means to start something in the feminine and then have big realizations in the masculine, and then start something in the masculine and sensing deeper shifts in the feminine. We are going to be dancing between our own masculine and feminine energies more actively, more readily, and perhaps to the point of honoring each one more fully. This change in the lunar cycle is going to be felt individually and collectively. It's going to be something that we are learning to honor and master as that full moon brings about important realizations that guides you to the reset of every new moon. May this be a welcoming of your heart, emotions, and intuition. May you feel this energy beautifully support you as you rise into more of your fullness. And may the brightness of the full moon guide you into more of the depth and the wisdom of the dark new moon reset. Again, I'll have more below for you if you want to review the details, if you're looking to understand this more completely. Otherwise, I'll be back here every Monday and Wednesday for a new podcast episode. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your connection and your curiosity about our current astrological energies. I hope this was beneficial, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. Take good care.